Welcome to Honeybee, real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. Have you ever been on a date and halfway through, it suddenly hits you? You're being tested for something you never signed up for? That's exactly what happened to me. I was sitting across from Brittany, a woman I'd been talking to for a while, when she looked me straight in the eyes and said, "You're not my type." I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I quietly paid the bill, stood up, and walked out. But what happened next? That's where the real story begins. Before I get into what went down on that date, I should give you some backstory. I once poured everything I had into my last relationship, my time, my trust, my loyalty, and somehow it still wasn't enough. She never really valued it. And when it was over, I felt like I'd been stripped of my worth. That was the moment I made a choice. No more dating until I put myself back together. I started working on me, hitting the gym, eating clean, waking up early, pushing harder in every area of my life. I stepped up at work, too, saving, investing, getting my finances in order. I want to make sure that when I finally did let someone back into my life, I'd be showing up as someone whole, not a broken man looking for someone else to put him back together. And honestly, for a long time, I was okay being by myself. But as the months turned into years, my friends kept nudging me to try dating again. They'd tell me, "Man, you've done the work. You're not that same guy anymore. It's time to put yourself back out there." Eventually, I agreed. I made a profile on a dating app. It felt strange at first, picking a few good pictures, writing about my interests, my values, and what I was looking for. I spent a couple of hours swiping, looking for someone I genuinely clicked with. I swiped right on a few women, most of them beautiful, interesting, and unique in their own ways. A few of them swiped right back, and we started chatting. Nothing too deep, just light conversations to see if there was a spark. And then I saw Brittany's profile. Her smile made me stop scrolling. Her photos were perfectly put together, her captions clever. She had this mix of sophistication and sass that immediately drew me in. Her bio said she worked in marketing, loved to travel, and preferred deep conversations over small talk. I could relate to that. So I swiped right. When we matched, she messaged me first. "You look like you know what you're doing, do you?" Playful, bold, and it grabbed my attention. Our chats moved fast. She was witty, sharp, always had something to say. But even early on, there was this tone in her texts, just a slight edge, a hint of condescension, like she was quietly sizing me up. I noticed it, but I kept going. She was captivating, and if I'm honest, I liked the challenge. While other women were sending thoughtful, open messages, Brittany had this way of making me feel like I had to earn her attention. And for some reason, I let myself get hooked. I stopped replying to other women, even though a few of them were clearly more genuine. I just focused on Brittany. Our conversations grew deeper. We shared pieces of our lives, laughed about bad dating experiences, teased each other. The banter had rhythm, like we were finally finding our groove. It felt natural to suggest meeting in person. Setting up that first date, though, felt like piecing together a complicated puzzle. She kept saying she had a packed schedule. I understood I was busy too. But I believe when two people really want to meet, they make it happen. So I let her choose a day and time. After some back and forth, we locked it in. Then, just before I was about to leave for the date, she texted saying she couldn't make it. Something came up. No details, no suggestion to reschedule. I wasn't upset about the cancellation itself. Emergencies happen. But the way she handled it, that rubbed me the wrong way. Still, 2 days later, I reached out again. Her reply was blunt. "I might be free this weekend, but just so you know, I don't do coffee dates. I only go on proper dinner dates at nice restaurants." It felt like I was being interviewed for a position rather than asked out on a date. Some guys might have walked away right there. But I decided to go along, curious to see where it would lead. I picked a nice spot, quiet, classy, but not over the top. I showed up early as usual. I always like to be on time, and I put effort into looking my best because I believe showing up was a sign of respect for the other person's time. I sat at the table, checked the menu, and kept glancing toward the door. 10 minutes passed, then 15. No message. I sent her a text, no reply. 20 minutes in, I was about ready to leave, and that's when she finally walked in. No apology, no smile, just dropped into the seat with a sigh and said, "Ugh, traffic was awful." I nodded, gave a polite reply, but in my head, I already knew she and I lived by very different rules. Her energy said it all. She acted like she was doing me a favor by just being there, but I stayed calm. Maybe she'd had a rough day. I told myself to give her a chance. Then the waiter brought menus, and she immediately started complaining under her breath, muttering, rolling her eyes, acting unimpressed with the choices. When the waiter came back, she treated him like he was wasting her time, barely looked at him while he explained the specials. I stayed polite, even tried to lighten the mood by asking about her hobbies and what she enjoyed outside of work. Short answers, disinterested glances, and while I was sharing about myself, she kept checking her phone. At one point, I stopped mid-sentence just to see if she'd notice. She didn't. Then she started asking about what I did for a living, but not in a curious way, more like she was running numbers in her head. She even asked if I rented or owned my place. That's when I made a choice. I could have told her how well I was actually doing in life, but I didn't. I downplayed everything, said I was still figuring things out, still grinding. I wanted to see how she'd treat me if she thought I had nothing to offer. Halfway through the meal, she leaned back, looked me up and down, and said flatly, "You're not really my type. I don't think this is going to work." I just sat there for a second, not because I was shocked, but because I was tallying everything in my mind, all the texts, the scheduling, the energy I spent hoping this would go somewhere. Instead of snapping or trying to prove her wrong, I just nodded. I called the waiter, paid the bill, the whole bill, stood up, looked her in the eye, and said, "Enjoy your meal." Then I walked out. The moment I stepped outside, it felt like I had dodged a bullet. Later that night, I got home, kicked off my shoes, sat on the edge of my bed, and just sat there thinking. I was drained, not just from the date, but from everything leading up to it. But I didn't beat myself up. I just took a shower, got ready for bed, and that's when my phone lit up. It was Brittany. "Wow, that's it? You just leave." She genuinely couldn't believe I walked away. She wanted me to chase her, to defend myself, to beg for a second chance. But I wasn't about to play that game. I didn't reply. The next morning, I woke up to a longer message. "Real men don't give up that easily. You were supposed to show me you wanted me." Then another, "You couldn't handle a challenge. Weak." I just laughed. That was her game all along. It was never about connection, never about respect. It was about control, about making me jump through hoops for her approval. But I played that game before, years ago. Back then, I bent over backward trying to prove I was worthy of love. I stayed in situations I didn't belong in, apologized when I didn't even know what I'd done wrong, kept pouring an effort hoping she'd finally see my value. But in the end, I lost myself. And I swore I'd never do that again. So I left Brittany's messages on read. Didn't block her, just chose peace over drama. Over the next few days, she kept popping up, watching my Instagram stories, liking old photos, clearly fishing for attention. I ignored it. Then she sent a long text. "I didn't mean what I said. I was just testing you. You passed, by the way. LOL. That message confirmed everything. It had been a test the entire time. She wasn't apologizing. She was rewriting the story to make it sound like I'd earned her approval. I still didn't respond. When she saw that wasn't working, she started sending selfies, random pictures, and messages like, "Thinking about you. Are you thinking about me?" But I'd already moved on. So when she finally asked if we could meet again to talk things out, I didn't hesitate. "No," I told her. "I'm already seeing someone else and don't want to complicate things." Then I blocked her. After Brittany, I had to take a step back and think about the kind of people we run into. Some people confuse being pursued with being loved. They think that if a man doesn't jump through hoops or beg after being disrespected, then he doesn't care enough. I used to fall for that trap. But not anymore. Real love isn't performance. It's peace. It's mutual respect, not manipulation. So no, I don't hate Brittany. If anything, I feel sorry for her. Because women like her think being hard to love makes them high value. But it only leaves them just as empty as the men they drain. As for me, I'm done with games. And if that makes me not her type, then good. I wouldn't want to be.